Hi guys! Cancellation token is one of the topics that usually used in the projects and developer think that they are using that in the best form. But it has some tips and some issues in the using of that in the typical projects. In this video, we will review them. We will review 7 tips about cancellation token, and we will show the codes of that and first show the issue, and then we will fix that by correct approach. So let me start from the simplest one, using or not using that. Let me start the application. We don't need the Swagger because I will run everything with Carol because Carol can cancel everything better than manual Swagger. So I open the terminal, and for the first one, I will paste this curl in here. In this curl, we will cancel the request after 2 seconds. And as you can see, we should see the bug in there. Okay, if we go to logs, you can see the log show that something is started and continue until end. If we see the controller, in here you can see we don't pass any cancellation token to controller and also to the method. So how we can fix it? You can guess what is the solution because it is the simplest and basic thing. Just we should pass the cancellation token in here in the fixed endpoint. Just we pass the cancellation token, and of course we should hand over that to the method that exists in the controller and in this action. So let me delete this one and run another curl to can test it in the terminal. Let me come back to the logs. You can see the request is started. In here, some slow query is simulated, and after that, one cancellation token hit the cancellation process, so the query aborted. So we could to prevent of using resources in this during of the time because after cancellation token we don't need the response. So it's better to dispose the resource and log and other stuffs. Okay, let me make it a little harder. That was very basic and everybody knows that. The next one is in here, in the register action. In here, you can see we have one cancellation token in the input of the action, and also we have something else. In here, we have register method that do something on the city. So on the city, on the cancellation token, we register something. This is very important because we can clean up everything with this code block. I had one video about quick recovery, and in there you could find more topics about quick recovery of the application in the enterprise and production level application, and this topic maybe is related to there as well. But because it is very close to cancellation token, I bring it in here and exclude that from there. In the register method, you can see we can add some logs and also release file handle, release logs, release connections, resources, everything. But when this code block will be executed, let me continue and came back again to there. We have try and catch block. In try and catch, we can see we have one async method in here, task.delay with the cancellation token. Imagine that the cancellation token hit it in here, and after some second, we will cancel that. After canceling this line, this registration code block will be executed. So this code block won't be executed every time, just when the cancellation token the application. It can be from many sources. For example, it can be from shutting down the application, from the cancellation by the user, or cancellation by timeout, and this kind of things. We can see more sources in the rest of the video. Okay, it's better to test this one as well. Let me copy the curl and bring in here and run it again. You can see we will to hit the register endpoint, and after 3 seconds we will cancel that. You can see the operation failed, and if we come back to log, you can see first of all this log in here demo, and after that this code block is not executed at the first, but in the try you can see working for up 10 seconds is written in here, and after that demo register observed cancellation is wrote in the log, and after that clean started and clean finished, which is in the registration code block. So after cancellation, the code block of the register is written in the console log. It is the better approach rather than write finally in here. Okay, the next topic is about linked token, but the name is a little misleading. Let me search timeout in controller. In here, you can see misleading name timeout. In here, we define timeout, and from that, we define one cancellation token with this source and pass timeout to them. So after 3 seconds, this action will be cancelled automatically. We would to simulate timeout in here. So we defined a new source of the cancellation. Before that, we thought that cancellation just can be done by the canceling by the user, but the system itself can cancel the request as well. How? With this timeout. Also, we have another source that, for example, the application shutdown. So how we can understand the source and how we can link all of them in one token and analyze just one token instead of all of them. This is very easy with CreateLinkedTokenSource. Let me run it in the debug form. And in here, you can see we combine two tokens. One token that is coming from the input of the action of controller, and another token is from the timeout ct.Token, which defined in the upper line. Pay attention to the catch block. If I put debugger in here and run one curl to hit this endpoint, you can see the link token is cancelled when any of these two cancellation tokens are true. So we can combine it very easy. That was very useful in your application, and I'm sure you can use it in your code. Next one is the most important tip about the cancellation token. And I'm sure most of the developers have issue and mistake in this part. What is that? Let me open controllers, and this one, the order controller. In order controller, we have two actions. One action is bad and another action is good. But before describing the code, let me run the curl and see the logs first, and after that we can came back and see the code again. I delete the logs to have a fresh console, and also in terminal I can run this one. I just hit the bad endpoint of the order controller, and after 4 seconds it will be cancelled. Okay, let me come back in here. In here you can see the result. Request started, validate, payment started, payment completed, inventory reserve started, but in here, the issue exactly in here, this is the very bad accident. You can see we get the money from the customer, but we didn't reserve it for the user. Why it happened? Let me try another endpoint with another curl to see the difference between them. Just the endpoint is different. After 4 seconds, this one as well will be canceled. Okay, in the good one, request started, validated, done, payment started, payment completed. In here, point of no cancellation crossed. In here, we don't allow to application to cancel the inventory reserve. So inventory reserve started, inventory reserved. So database saved and request completed. It means that cancellation token won't be acted in everywhere. In somewhere, we should have some points that cancellation is not permitted. How we do that? Let me minimize there and show in here. Go to implementation. Into implementation, you can see we validate the request. After that, we charge it. And in here, we pass cancellation.None. But what about in the bad one? Let me come back and go to the bad one. You can see we validate, and after that the charge is started with the cancellation token, and after that in reserve we send exactly same cancellation token in there. In here you can see the validated is done. After that the charge payment is done, and then reserve inventory will get the cancellation token, and in here the danger will be happen. In the save we have the cancellation token. In all of these points, we pass the same cancellation token and return with all of them with the same form. But some of the points is the point of no cancellation. This is very important that can cause dangerous actions and behaviors in your application. Okay, the next one is about the streaming. Imagine that you have a very big response in your application, and in the middle of that, the user cancel it. We have two approaches. One approach is that user must wait until the end, and after that, we can provide the response to that. The better approach is that return the response during the process, and when the user cancel the request, we provide for him or her some parts of the request. Let me test it in application as well. Again, we need to run one carol in the application. Did you see that? It is a streaming. It returns the response step by step. If the first chunk is ready, it returns that to the user. And after that, if the second batch is ready, it hand over to the user again and until the end. And if the user cancel it in the middle of the request, some part of the response will be provided to user. But how we can implement that in order service and streaming and a stream endpoint. Let me make this smaller, and in stream in here you can see two things. First of all, you should define the output as the IAsyncEnumerable, and the second one is in here, yield return. In the for each, we yield return the response to this IAsyncEnumerable. That will be very great for streaming your response. But what is the next one? Next one is about the resilient approach. Of course, you know the poly and the policies that exist in there. One of the policies is retry. For example, in there in poly, you can define that if something is incorrect and we get some exception, you should retry with these scenarios. But usually this is the point and place that developers make mistake. They retry on the cancellation again. if the user want to cancel something, it means that he or she doesn't want to retry that. So retrying and canceling is not in the same boat. Let me run one curl to see the better snapshot. You could see that attempt for first time, second time, and third time. Where is that? In the demo controller, and let me find retry. In here, you can see we do it after cancellation again. But what is the correct one? Let me copy and paste the correct curl and paste it in here. Let me come back to here. After first attempt, the cancellation will hit the application. Where is the code of that? The code is in here. Retry fix. You can see we changed the catch code block to two parts. One part is the general exception and another one is operation canceled exception. Is the exception is in the form of operation canceled exception, the retry won't be acted in here. So when you define the policies in your poly or manual, pay attention to exclude these kinds of exceptions from your policies because this is not logical to retry on cancellation. Okay, I can stop the application, but our topic about cancellation token is not finished yet. How we can test cancellation token unit tests? Very good question. Usually developers skip that, but it is not escapable because it is important. Let me open the test project, and here you can see we have some tests. Let me run it to see they are passed because the green color make good sense in our mind. Okay, but how we can test the cancellation token? In here, you can see the cancellation token is passed as already canceled. Because if we want to, for example, for timeout cancellation token, if we want to wait for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, the unit test will be very slow. So if the unit test is very slow, this is not good unit test. In this form, we define already canceled token. In already canceled token, we pass it to the charge async, and this charge async will be show the cancellation behavior of itself. You can see I added a stopwatch as well. Why? Because the cancellation is not enough. We should measure this fact that cancellation is as soon as possible. Cancellation token should be very fast. In here, we defined 500 milliseconds, but it's very strict. You can wider than here. Okay, I would to say with this unit test,